Good morning, everybody. Welcome back for an installment of Scott Selections here for Monday, December 7th. Before getting today's play of the day, quick recap of what happened yesterday. We had a very nice day as we ended up sweeping the board. We gave out Bellarmine -2.5, which is available on DraftKings at -112 on DraftKings, which was their first D1 win in the history of the program. Fade on Howard, they're awful, and the line ended up closing at -6. So we beat a 3.5-point line move, and it didn't matter as Bellarmine won by 20. Or 20 plus. And we also gave out in the NFL the Bengals team total under 16.5 on Fox Bet at -125. Bengals had a long touchdown in the first quarter, pretty fluky. And then after that, they did absolutely nothing for the rest of the game, and they finished with exactly 7 points. So very easy winner for us on both plays, and we're going to be looking for another. We're going to looking for that to continue with 2 more plays here on Monday. We're going to be doing 1 play on the NFL and 1 play on college basketball. We're starting off college basketball because that's been where we've been cooking the most lately. So without further ado, we're going to dive right in. We're going to be talking about a matchup that's going to be taking place tonight at roughly 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And it will be between Florida Atlantic and North Florida. And we're going to be taking the Owls here on the road at -4, which is available on Fox Bet at -118. The time recording of 10:25 a.m. Eastern Time. A couple reasons why I like I like Florida Atlantic in this spot. I'm going to be fading North Florida as this team has been awful so far this season. They're currently 0-5, and they have not been close in any of these games. But they have played some good competition. They lost to, for example, North Carolina State by 35. They lost to Florida State by 28. 2 pretty solid teams lost to Miami by 18, even though Miami hasn't been that good in basketball for the last couple of years. But if you look at who else they played against Eastern Kentucky, a team that we backed earlier this season, lost by 13, and they lost to High Point on the road by 11, which means that North Florida's 0-5, and they have not even been within single digits in any of these games, as they have lost every single game by at least 11 points. Now, the main reason why North Florida, who is usually pretty good in their conference, has been struggling so far this season is because of the lack of experience. Now, if you look at their team, they lost 4 starters from last year's team. The only starter they brought back was forward Carter Henderson, who is currently the best player on the team. He's a pretty solid player, but the issue that you have with North Florida is that they have new players or even old players taking on roles that they're not accustomed to and trying to make the best of the system that they're in with a pretty limited offseason. And it seems like so far it's been a disaster because they have not been close in any single game. And even at home, they really have not been close either. So I do think that Florida Atlantic should be a bigger favorite currently than this -4. Looking at Florida Atlantic, on the other hand, though, they brought back a decent amount of experience from last year's team. They bring back 3 starters, and they brought back 2 of their top 4 scorers in forward Jalen Ingram and guard Michael Forrest. Jalen Ingram's the best player on the team. Really not that close, but he is pretty solid when it comes to attacking the rim. And I do think that North Florida will struggle trying to stop him as they're currently giving up 82.8 points per game. Just to touch upon North Florida once again, I mentioned how their offense has been struggling so far with the absence of 4 of their top 5 scorers from last year. Just to be clear, they're averaging 61.8 points per game, which means that I know Florida Atlantic has played 2 non-D1 teams that have helped boost their average. But if you look at this, how they've been doing this season, Florida Atlantic's averaging 20 more points per game. Now, that number does, of course, drop a lot when you talk about how they've faced against D1 competition. But Jacksonville State, I think, is a pretty solid team in their respective conference. I think they're pretty underrated. And South Alabama's okay, but they only lost by 2 on the road. And I think that North Florida is significantly worse than South Alabama. So I do think that Florida Atlantic laying 4 here is a little bit too low, especially since Florida Atlantic is shooting roughly 7% better from the floor. They're also averaging roughly 8 more rebounds per game. So I think Florida Atlantic should be able to generate enough second chance points. I think they'll do a pretty good job of attacking the paint. And I do think that North Florida will continue to struggle offensively against a Florida Atlantic team that defensively has been very good this season, giving up 58.3 points per game. And that's not even just talking about the non-D1 teams. If you look at how they played against Jacksonville State and South Alabama, they only gave up 68 points to South Alabama. They only gave up 60 points to Jacksonville State. I think North Florida will probably finish this game somewhere around, I'd say, 58, give or take. And I do think that Florida Atlantic should be able to do enough offensively to score maybe in the 70s in this game, potentially 75 or so. So for that reason, I think that this game will turn into a bit of a rout. I think this game might be close for a little while because of just a potential in-state rivalry, whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, I do think Florida Atlantic is the more talented team. I think that they have the better athletes, and I do think that they definitely have looked sharper during the early going of the season and because of the experience advantage. So for that reason, the first play that is going to be on Florida Atlantic -4 is available on Fox Bet at -118. That's been Installment Scott Selections. Good luck to all of you and your respective bets today. Bye, everyone.